Hi everyone, good Shabbos. This week is Parshas Vayikra. Vayikra speaks about sacrifices. Sacrifices represent a Jew's desire to come close to Hashem, which stems from his essential bond with Hashem, which runs deeper than his action, his physical action, what he does or he doesn't do. This is why a sacrifice has the ability to atone for his sin, because when a person reveals that essential bond that he has with Hashem, that's able, together with tshuva, that's able to wash away the effects of sin. This is also why the beginning of the parsha of sacrifices speaks about sacrifices that a person brings voluntarily, because the highlight of a person's connection to Hashem is expressed not just when a person decides to do tshuva, but first and foremost it's highlighted with the fact that a Jew has a desire that goes beyond just his feeling that he has to do what he has to be his chayv, he has to fulfill his obligation. But a Jew has a desire on his own voluntarily. He wants to connect to Hashem and go above and beyond the letter of the law, do something for the sake of Hashem that he's not commanded to do. This stems from an internal relationship that a Jew has with Hashem, which is not just based on do's and don'ts, but is based on the essential bond that a Jew shares with Hashem. Likewise, from the Eibishter's point, what arouses by a Jew that desire to connect to Hashem is because the Eibishter has that essential love to a Jew. And when the Eibishter shows that love to a Jew, it likewise brings out a reciprocal effect by a Jew that he has the same feelings of love for Hashem. That is why the parsha begins, Vayikra al Moshe. Hashem called to Moshe, and he called him with his name in an affectionate way. Moshe, as our sages explain, Vayikra is the expression of chiba, of love. Before the Eibishter spoke with Moshe, he always called him in an affectionate way. And it's this love that Hashem showed to Moshe, which in a larger, in an overall way, it refers not only to Moshe, but to every Jew, because every Jew has a nitzutz, has a spark of Moshe within him. That love that Hashem shows to him brings out within the Jew the desire, likewise, to reciprocate and to have the love for Hashem back and to go above and beyond what he has to do and reveal that essential bond he has with Hashem, which is the whole theme of sacrifices in this week's parsha. I may also add, perhaps, as a separate point, or maybe connected as well, that there's a famous Hayom Yom that says that if a person wants that Hashem should show his love to him, as if he shows his love to a fellow Jew, that will cause, measure for measure, Hashem should show his love for him. This idea is stressed many times in Tanya and Geras HaKodesh and in many other sources, that by doing a favor for another Jew, particularly when one does it with love and chiba, he doesn't just do a physical act of kindness, but he does it with his whole heart, so then he merits, measure for measure, the Eibishter should show love to him as well. Today is also Beis Nisan, 100 years of the yahrzeit of the Rebbe Rashab, and we know one of the fundamental aspects of the Rebbe Rashab was the idea that he made Chassidus very clearly understood, and he also established the yeshiva where Chassidus was learned in a very understood and clear way. What does Chassidus do? This ties in, perhaps I could add, this ties in very well with the above, because the message of Chassidus is to bring it our inner connection with Hashem, not just to do what we have to do and not to do what we shouldn't do, that we already have before Chassidus, but Chassidus brought out that within our connection, within what we do and we don't do, we should bring out our kiruv, our closeness to Hashem, which is brought out through learning Chassidus, understanding Chassidus, particularly through the way that Rebbe Rashab accomplished, that we should be able to understand and appreciate the ideas of Chassidus in a very clear and revealed way. This makes our connection to Hashem all the more clear, understood, tangible and relevant and relatable, that we should be able to apply that to our day-to-day life and internalize that relationship in a way that it should motivate us to serve the Eibishter, not just according to the limited amount that we have to do, but even more. One last thought, also on the theme of sacrifices, connected with the virus that's unfortunately still spreading. Just a thought, you could take it or leave it. There's a story in Tanakh at the end of Shmuel Beis and in Divrei Hayomim that there was a plague in the times of David HaMelech. And the reason for the plague, I don't want to get into all the details and the sources and so on and so forth and all the explanations behind it, but the Radak brings at the end of Shmuel Beis that the reason for the plague was that the Jews didn't demand the building of the Beis HaMikdash. There was a Mishkan, but they knew that it was supposed to come a time that the Beis HaMikdash would be built, and they didn't demand it. And the way the plague was stopped is that God one of the Nevi'im at that time, went to David HaMelech and he told him to bring a sacrifice at the place which was soon to be discovered. This was the place where the Beis HaMikdash was supposed to be built, where the Mizbech was supposed to be built. And when David HaMelech built there a Mizbech and brought a sacrifice, he saw that the plague stopped. And he realized that this is the place where the Beis HaMikdash was supposed to be built. And the Radak says that it's a medrash that if the Jewish people in times of David HaMelech, which they didn't yet have a Beis HaMikdash, and they had a Mishkan, it's not as if that they were in the state that Beis HaMikdash was in a state of destruction, it just didn't yet come the time to be built. Still, they should have demanded it. How much more so now that we had the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed, that we have to continuously demand it. And this is actually the reason why it was instituted to daven in our daily prayers 3 times a day, and in benching that we daven for the building of the Beis HaMikdash. Again, just a thought. I'm not obviously trying to justify the suffering that we're going through, and so on and so forth. But definitely one thing to be mechazik ourselves with is the idea of demanding the Eibishter for the building of the Beis HaMikdash, and that we should internalize the idea that our true hope and goal in life is not just to make money, and not just to be successful in whatever areas we want, begashmias or even beruchnias, but our true goal is to be in Eretz Yisrael together with Mashiach. So it's to strengthen our hope, our belief, our wish, internalize the concept that what we should want in life is all the things that we want are merely symptoms of one big lack that we have in the world, that we don't have Mashiach yet. We need nachas, we need shalom bayis, we need parnasa, we need health, wealth, all the good things. They're all very important, but essentially they're just symptoms of one bigger thing that we need, which is Mashiach. So instead of focusing on the smaller picture, we should focus on the bigger picture. We should sincerely daven and internalize the idea in our own minds and hearts that our true desire, our true wish, our true goal should be not just a life should return to normal, as whatever we call normal, but our life should, the true normal of life is that we should all be in Eretz Yisrael together with Mashiach and the Beis HaMikdash Ashlishi bringing karbanos. So again, just as in a positive sense, not chas v'shalom in a negative way, trying to cause any blame or justify chas v'shalom what's going on, but in a positive way of chizuk. Perhaps one thing that we could all learn from, one thing we should be mechazik ourselves with, is with the idea and the thought. We all see it anyway clearly. The world came to a standstill, and all things that people relied on, medicine, doctors, government, stock markets, economy, and so on and so forth, all came to a standstill. And the Eibusher is, it seems pretty clear to me at least, the Eibusher is showing us that there's something much deeper we have to rely on, and our goal should be something much greater than that. So we should all have the coming of Mashiach, and be together with the Rabbi Rashab, all the Rebbeim, together with Mashiach Tzidkenu, bring sacrifices in the third Beis HaMikdash, and every Jew will merit the Vayikra al Moshe, Hashem will show him in a clear and revealed way His love, in a revealed way, and that will bring out within us a desire to serve Him as well, and wholeheartedly. And we should merit, it should happen with chesed, with rachmin, with mercy, and with kindness, and without any more of all these types of crazy things that are going on, and should happen, take it from Yad Mamish.